tech, because they're telling us not to use any kind of
no trim.
You are good to go. You're good to go according to the tech.
Well,
taking off.
The tech is one of the guys here.
Oh, okay.
And he asked me what happened, and I told him. And I told him I put it up next to yours, and I realized one of my control surfaces was like a turn and a half from being accurate.
Well, you and I noticed that one day.
Right, and he said to me, he says, that's enough for it to do something really weird. He says, the only way you're going to know now is to go back out, refly it. He says, and then if you have another issue with it, bring it back to me and I'll look at it. He says, but right now, he says, it might be flying just fine. No reason for me to look at anything. He says to me, I've been watching you. He says, you're pretty savvy. This is Umberto. You know Umberto?
Nope.
He used to be the safety officer and he used to be the chief flight instructor.
What's his last name?
Pedro or something like that. Heavy set guy, flies pattern, very precision flyer. He's one of the best flyers we have here.
Cool.
Then when I was done, I talked him into being a teacher. He says, I need instructors. Oh, I'll be one. He says, if you need somebody on the weekends, I'll do Futaba and Spectrum.
Well, that's
Fixed
good.
wing and drone. He says, no helicopters. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad to have him.
That's good. You recruited another?
Yeah, actually I recruited 3. So even Tim is going to be an instructor.
So how's he getting along?
Tim's all right. Everybody's doing
Yeah, he's
all right.
military, so he'd make a good instructor because he's A, B, C, D, E.
But yeah, the only thing is I had to tell him, hey, when you get somebody, they don't give a hell about the way the wind and the aerodynamics. I says, you just keep it basic. Explain the CG and what it means and the control surfaces, why it flies.
I would agree with you.
Leave all that other shit out of it. I says, and if they want to know, they'll ask you. I said, then you can get into it.
I'd agree with you.
Because you're going to lose them and scare them.
Well, it's KISS. We taught ourselves, and it's the KISS principle.
Yep.
You learned, boy, you hit it right on the head. You right off the bat, man. If you ain't got your CG squared away. I learned that on the slow stick.
Yeah, that'll make or break your airplane. I don't like this airplane. It don't fly right. Well, it don't fly right because it's not set up properly.
Yeah, speaking of which, I kind of screwed myself on this platform and some others too. I use stabilization, and the upside about stabilization is when you point it in the right direction, it'll just keep going. Downside is when your CG is wrong, it'll effectively still do that, and what I mean by that is
it's pushing it to make it fly straight, but it's not flying right.
Particularly if you're nose heavy.
Yep.
And I've been flying this and about 3 or 4 of my other models nose heavy, and that's been reducing my time in the air.
Well, let's talk about nose heavy. I think you know this, always like my plane on the CG to be a hairline nose down. And I'm learning that's not always in your best interest.
Oh, I don't care for it at all.
It needs to be perfectly level. The plane needs to be trimmed at half throttle.
Yeah,
and these are things that you can't change.
Out of preference?
It has to be in order for you to like the plane and get the most out of it.
Out of preference, I never cared for that, and I just thought that was your personal preference.
Well, you know why?
I like mine flat.
This is what Bert Cameron, the helicopter guy, taught me. And it made a lot of sense, and I guess maybe it works for him. When you're learning, you want the plane to be going down and not climbing.
I guess.
So this way, because we make stupid mistakes.
I guess.
Right? Think about it. We make stupid mistakes. The first time we flew this plane for you, it went horribly wrong. Had the plane been pulling up, when it came back down, you know how the CG works.
Or just
broke it way worse, number one. And number two, it stayed on a level plane and slowly came down, and that's why you still have the plane.
I guess.
think that's what he was focused on, is when you crash, hopefully it won't be so violent.
Perhaps. I think a well-trimmed airplane's the way to go.
Now, you ready for this? The 3D airplanes that I've got, you're supposed to set them up a hairline tail heavy.
Oh, yeah.
So that they'll do the hover and stuff like that. Now, talk about a weird flying aircraft. It goes against everything you've been taught.
How does have you been able to hover at all?
No, I haven't. I'm bucking for a really nice 3D plane.
I'm interested to see how landing. I'm interested to see how our skills translate, or if they translate.
think that they will, because now you're going to be all over that left stick, which is what we set up in our just basics when we learned. It should be, if anything, a benefit.
I'd think.
The flying of the helicopter.
We're used to hovering.
Yep. Yep, but the plane has to dynamically be set up to do that, or you can get close to it, but it's not going to hover or hover right.
I think they make an ultra micro. They make several of them that are like under 800 millimeter.
Right.
That'd be a route I think you might be, not you, but the Royal U.
Well, I got, somebody had given me a plane about this size.
Clear?
Al Yeager gave me extra 260.
Yeah.
That's what I've been trying it with, but I'll